I'm just going to be pretty straight up, direct today. No clever editing, no bites, sound clips, or visuals. I'm just going to tell you straight up, I am angry. I am angry at what happened to President Trump. Despite the fact there are some Republicans that are speaking up saying this is awful, including Jeb Bush, really, where is the pushback on this? I have said for years, one thing that you can take to the bank when it comes to Democrats and liberals, when they are in power, they use their power. When they are in power, they use their power. We have taken back the House. What are we doing with it? We're letting this dough ball in Manhattan, this Soros libloon hack who has had one mission and one mission only that he ran on: get Donald Trump. Doesn't matter that New York City has become an absolute crime-ridden cesspool of now absolutely unprosecuted crime that you can apparently, hit people in the head with a hammer, shove them in front of subway trains, and there's a good likely possibility nothing's going to happen to you. Why? Because it's New York City. And Fat Al Bragg, the only thing that he's had on his mind is taking real crime and lowering them to nothing, because after all, we can't fill the prisons with people of color, so that this is something Joe Biden can run on, that you'll notice under my administration, crime stats are down among people of color. Yeah, because you stopped arresting them. You've stopped prosecuting, and you've defunded police, and you have attorney generals like this in charge of large municipalities, which basically means now real crime is going unprosecuted. And then he had the audacity to stand there and talk about Donald Trump and say that we cannot allow serious crime to go unanswered. Are you kidding me? We have 34 counts, and this is what he said, 34 counts of him covering up other crimes, yet they never specify what these so-called other crimes are. So really, Trump's attorneys do have grounds for dismissal that we still don't know completely what our client is actually being charged with, because what he did, at worst, might be a bookkeeping error. But even then, Donald Trump denies the affair. He denies paying out. Cohen paid out of his own pocket and put a letter in writing with his signature that Donald Trump knew nothing of the payout. So whatever monies he gave to Cohen, we don't know what that's for. We don't know if that was reimbursement for a Stormy Daniels payment or that was just Cohen's legal fees for that month. We don't know. The point is, other DAs have looked into this and said there's no there. The Federal Elections Commission, who are certainly no fans of Donald Trump, they looked into it and said there's no there. So we have a DA making things up, no crime charge whatsoever. Donald Trump still doesn't fully know what he's actually being charged with here. It's worst, it's a bookkeeping error. It's 7 years after the fact, so the statute of limitations has run out, and you can have a state DA trying to make a, quote, federal case, which is what he's trying to do by getting creative here. Now, again, this should be thrown out. Will it be? Of course not. He's got to go back in December, right about the start of the midterm or the primary election season. January 2024 is when they're looking at starting the trial on this, right in the heat of the actual primaries. This was done on purpose. There is no case here. Fat Al Bragg isn't going to win this thing. Well, he shouldn't win it, because there's just other attorneys are all looking at this, even Democrat attorneys, and saying there's literally no case here. Their star witness is a convicted liar. Their smoking gun person this is all swirling around is, you know, Stormy Daniels. She's a liar, a grifter, a lowlife. Oh, by the way, she had put in writing and said for years there was no affair, no affair, no affair, no affair. Why is she saying there was an affair? Oh, she's had an attack of conscience. She wants to do the right thing. Or she's getting paid out. But what really frosted me was when they asked Joe Obama Biden. And by the way, I know we call him Joe Dementia Biden, but don't fall for all of that. That's a convenient, like an old mafia don who, when his crimes finally catch up with him, and they finally get him in a courtroom, and he feigns that he's old and he's frail, and he sits there with an oxygen tank, and his attorney says, Your Honor, how could this man who just tends his rose garden and loves his grandchildren and makes a little homemade wine in the basement, how could he have ordered the execution of hundreds of people and controlling drugs and prostitution? Look at this old man. He could be your grandfather. That's what Joe Biden's trying. Don't pay any attention to his crimes. Don't pay any attention to the fact that he's a pedophile who took showers with his daughter. Don't pay any attention to the fact that his crackhead son and him just cleared over $1 million from China, that, there's been no income tax paid on that he has had boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of confidential, top secret files all spread all over Washington, D.C. and Delaware under no proper supervision, hauled around in people's private vehicles. Yet Trump is under investigation with a possible another indictment coming on that, and Biden and the crime family just walk around free. But that smirk, it's that same smirk he gave when asked about the pipeline, the Russian pipeline. Trust me, we can turn it off. And then it was sabotaged. Biden's little smirk was basically saying, no matter what, Trump is guilty. We're going to make that happen. And they want to drag this out. They want to have the other indictments come through, and they just want to start the indictment pile-on now. I am not confident President Trump gets vindicated in the court of law over this. I'm not. The fix is in. I think even Bragg initially was not going to take on this case. I think the Biden White House said, oh, yes, you are. And they took this one on because, as I have said before, there are certain things the American people don't have the time to wrap their heads around. They're busy. They're going to work. They're paying their mortgage. They're trying to raise their kids, trying to keep pedophiles and drag queens from getting their hands on them at school, all in the name of inclusive education. So they don't always pay attention to the fine details of other things happening in the political world. So they might not be paying a whole lot of attention or understand or care to understand about what's happening in Georgia, what's happening with the documents. But one thing the Democrats do know that grabs the American people's attention: sex. Salacious sex. Netflix makes docuseries out of it. HBO loves to offer their soft porn TV programs. I mean, Americans wrap their heads around sex scandals. And that's what they've got here with Donald Trump, they think. And so to the average person, yeah, he paid her off to shut her up. But they'll say, but I don't think you ought to go to jail for it. And the truth is, Trump is saying, I didn't do it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The narrative is set. They want to put him away for this. And that smirk of Joe Biden. I'm sorry. All I could think of was, in 1776, we had to clean house. And it's rather kind of looking to me that the house is getting dirty again. Is it spring cleaning time? I am praying for my president. I'm referring to Donald Trump, of course. We need to speak up, speak out. But I'm telling you, democracy didn't die yesterday. I heard some conservative pundits say, oh, democracy, justice died. No, it died on January 7th. The republic fell on January the 7th. And Trump supporters and patriots have been scared into you can't assemble, you can't even peacefully protest. The other people, they can do whatever they want. In fact, we'll actually arm them with the bricks and sticks that they need to be violent and to be nasty. And then we'll just turn around and blame it on you anyway. I mean, this is what tyranny looks like. This is fascism. Everything they accused Donald Trump of, which he did not do, they are doing. Why? Because it was projection the entire time. Period. Period. So I'll leave it to Fox News and other political pundits to weigh out all of the nitty-gritty details about what's in the indictment, what it means, what are Trump's legal options here, and the drama that's going to play out with this. And again, the Democrats are going to take their time with this. They're not going to slap him in handcuffs tomorrow. No, it's too far out from the election. They want to drag this out. They want to keep the majority of the American people from wanting to vote for him, no matter how bad what Biden is doing is. Somebody posted up, all of this is a distraction so we don't notice their treason. No, they don't even care if we notice the treason anymore. I mean, we've got Hunter Biden dead to rights. We've got Joe's connection and all of that dead to rights. We know exactly what these people are doing. Sabotaging another sovereign nation's pipeline. We are illegally occupying Syria. We are creating this proxy war with Russia through Ukraine. We're getting ready to ramp things up with China. But you want to put Donald Trump in prison for giving money to a porn star. They're getting ready to pass this restriction bill. We gotta get rid of TikTok. It's Chinese propaganda. Okay, you read this thing? This lets them, like a Facebook or a YouTube community service policy, it lets them pull down any website, any app for any reason. Unquestioned, unfettered. You know, like church apps might have to go away. You know, millions of people love the TV series The Chosen. What if all those apps went away? After all, you know, you churches that are spreading things like guys can't be girls and girls can't be guys. That's not approved speech. Got to go away. Gone. Bye. See ya. They'll monitor your emails more so than they are now. And Republicans and Democrats, they have bipartisan agreement on this. One of the worst things that happens is when Republicans and Democrats have bipartisan agreement. Because it usually means you and me, the American people, are going to get screwed, lose rights, and lose money. So I am very, today, I'm just going to be straight up and honest with you. And I don't believe on any level our president is going to get a fair shake or a fair deal or justice. You got to believe in, oh, shut up. You remind me of some of my compadre Met fans. The Mets are reeling right now. I know it's early in the season, but they're reeling right now. 2 games back to back where even Keith Hernandez said you couldn't manufacture one run. You're supposed to be a World Series contending team, and you couldn't manufacture a single run in 2 games. Now, a lot of that has to do with, here I go, boys and girls, getting politically incorrect. When your star players were not at spring training, but they were off playing the World Baseball Classic against subpar pitching, against inferior teams, And even then, some of them weren't really playing. They were just sitting on the bench. So instead of getting ready for the season, Major League Baseball, which pays them hundreds of millions of dollars and is top shelf athletic competition, again, hey, it's great. I know some of our Latin players wanted to represent their Latin countries because, these are kids with dreams and they play baseball with a stick and an avocado. I get it. But the competition level isn't the same. And now you're not ready and you're getting scorched, and Met fans don't want to hear that. And some of you conservatives, you don't want to hear that. I'm sorry, justice for all. Give me a break. Give me a break. It's an illusion. All we can do right now is, while we still have some of our privileges because we don't have rights anymore, Joe Biden's made that abundantly clear when he talks about the Second Amendment. Nothing's forever. When we're watching Republicans work with Democrats to basically legalize censorship. See, I love gridlock because gridlock means they can't do this insanity. So while we still have a few privileges intact, we can speak up, spout off. For me as a pastor, obviously I've got my work cut out for me in the preaching of the gospel and trying to reach people until the day they tell me, you can't do that. By the way, your sermons can't be streamed live. No. You're in violation of the community standards on Facebook and YouTube because you teach certain things that we okay and deem as normal. You teach that it's sin. Welcome to the new America, where sadly, it's anything but free.